fuck, man. It's been a bit.
It has been. It's been a couple of years, I want to say.
Maybe. I mean, I think I've texted you here and there, but like the last time we did one of these, yeah, probably about a couple of years, maybe.
It might have even been over COVID. I feel like you were doing a few more of these, like maybe during the downtime, maybe just a little bit after. I forget, but
yeah,
too long.
Yeah,
regardless, it's been too long.
Too long, man. But it's good that still seeing you doing music and shit. That's awesome.
Yeah, I mean, at this point, there's no past the point of no return. I'm all in. I don't want to do anything else. I would straight up rather just bury myself alive than do anything else.
Yeah.
And it's kind of liberating when you turn that corner. I'm just doing this. I don't know if it's going to work. I don't care.
Yeah, exactly. And yeah, your country now. What's going on? Like when did that happen?
Well, when
did this decision, like, I mean, I know you've always liked it, but for you to be,
finally
dipping
doing
your toes in that genre, it's like, oh, okay. When did you have that day of just like, you know what? Fuck it. I'm going to do it.
It's a good question, man. So this is actually my third time doing country fully. Yeah. So Dan, Rob, and myself, the two founding members of Stereos, we started a country project when we still lived in Ontario in 2011. We had songs recorded, like 5 songs, and it never came out for a million reasons. It just wasn't ready. Yep. And I did it over in 2020. I recorded 3 songs, and it was ready to go and never came out. So I've been trying to do this country thing for, over a decade. And, it's funny how the world works out. Like, it doesn't go according to your own plan, but I look back and I don't think I was ready. I don't think the songs were 100% there. I think they were okay, but and then just to kind of put the cherry on top is that I've never done anything solo. And so both of those times where I tried to go country before was side projects with band members. And I think, honestly, it was born out of frustration. I'm not going to lie. Like, I'm very thankful for what Stereos has been in my life, but I do need more than just playing a few times a year. And so it was about this time last year, to be honest with you, where I was like, I'm just doing it. I've said it before, but I'm doing it. Third time's a charm, and started really writing with this as my focus. And, everything takes 10 times longer than you think it will. I put out a country song as like a collab in April, but this is my first fully solo song coming out November 8th. And, it's 13 years later from when I started writing country music, and it's finally happening.
Okay. That's what I was going to ask too, is when did you like actually start messing around writing country music? So like 13 years ago, eh?
Yep. 2011. And, it was so much fun, man. And like right away, it's got a different vibe to it than the pop stuff. I mean, they're obviously similar in a lot of ways too, but creatively, I think it was an itch I just needed to scratch. And so the timing is right now.
Oh, that's good, man. Yeah, I enjoyed the collab song that you did. It was very catchy,
I love that
very
song
cool.
too.
I like that. That's a good song. And I'm excited to hear the new one, the full thing. I keep obviously just the snippets that you post, right? I'm just like, God damn, I just want to hear the song.
Dude, I hate doing that. And it's only on TikTok, right? So like, I'm thankful that I have younger people around me who know how the world works nowadays. And dude, they're so right. So the audio for the song, which is just my original sound, and I don't know how familiar you are with TikTok, but like to create your own sound and have it get numbers is very hard, right? Usually you tap into like trending sounds. But the audio for my song is already over 1 million. And
nice.
The song isn't even out. And so it's so counterintuitive to me, man. Like, I'm a kid who would, I'd get a CD and I'd lock myself in my room the day it came out, and like giving it away seemed crazy to me, but it's definitely led already to pre-saves and all these things. And it's a new world, man. I'm an old man in a young man's game right now, but it's doing well.
Weird. It's weird, man.
So
like I remember those days too. Just fucking, you just have that CD on loop.
Yeah, dude. Exactly. And like that magic of the first time you hear an album and you learn the lyrics, like I said, it's that is lost, but I can yell at clouds all day long as an old man, or I can, just adjust and learn the new world we're in. And it's, once you kind of get the hang of it, it's fun too, in a different way.
Yeah, I think there's always going to be change, right? Like I'm curious to see what the next thing's going to be. You know what I mean? With how social media and technology is, it's because it kind of feels like, you know, where else can we go? But obviously it's just going to be something so insane.
100%. Yeah. And like, that's the funny thing about this music industry is that I always say, like, one of the terms I use over and over with people is that, like, anyone who tells you that they know exactly how this works is someone that you should be wary of, because anyone who actually knows how this works knows that by tomorrow the game could completely change and they won't anymore. So like it's tricky, man. You know, it's experience can work against you in some ways because you think you know how it's going to happen, but you just gotta kind of go with the flow. I know it's such a lame cliche, but it's true.
Yeah. Well, I think you're doing a pretty good job, especially with your social media game. I got to say, like you've been doing pretty good with your consistent posting and all that shit. Like that must just be like, I post too, but I'm not doing the level you are. I know that.
Yeah. And I'm not going to lie, man. I don't love it. I do not love the like post a day aspect. I think it takes away from the writing and the creativity that I would otherwise allot somewhere else.
Yeah.
But it does boil down to like old man yelling at cloud. I can say that I'm not doing it, or, you know, like I don't want to be a TikTok musician. I can say all these things, but I don't know, man. I don't think you can afford to say I don't do TikTok until you're, you're living full time off your music. It would be a great thing one day where I'm like, you know what? I don't think I need TikTok anymore, but I'm not there. I'm years away from being there. So
yeah, that's fair. That's where everybody is, man. TikTok.
Apparently
TikTok.
People are so mean on TikTok too. I'm like,
oh yeah,
dude, the reaction has been like 99% positive, so good. Yeah. And then there's these people who use like either fake accounts or their pets accounts and just be like, I can't wait till your music career's over. It's like, why would you, like, what did I do? You know what I mean? Because when dude, you don't think that I see music that I don't like, whereas I'm like, it's not my thing. I scroll past it. I'm like, not my thing. For people to go out of their way and be like, I hope your career's over tomorrow. It's like, okay, like you're clearly not a happy person.
Oh yeah. It's amazing the amount of people that just have to voice what's in their head. And it's just like, why? What are you doing? Stop. They're
not happy. They're not happy. No one who is happy speaks to other people, let alone strangers, that way. It just doesn't happen. You know, think about a good day. When you're having a good day, you're nice to people, even if they bug you. You know what I mean? So they're just not happy with themselves, and I feel for them. I truly do.
No, especially if you're doing it on social media, making a comment, sending a message, like whatever. It's like it's a different level of, you know, you got shit going on if you need to do this.
Yeah, not everything is firing up there when you do that.
No, not at all, man. God, and that's one thing I wanted to bring up too. That stereo show you guys did. How was that? That looked like a fucking blast, man.
Dude, it was incredible. It was so special. You know, that's the word I often use because it's a good lesson for me too, right? Like I'm on this path as a solo artist, but, you know, life gives me this lesson. It's like still one of the most significant things you're doing is with this group of guys and appreciate like what that band has meant to other people, but also I said this on stage at the show and it kind of got a laugh, but it's true, dude. Like we're all getting gray hair on stage here. Some of us, and you know, Dan joined us. So I said, you know, those of us that have hair and
nice.
We're playing one of the best shows we've ever played in our careers. Yeah. That is like, how beautiful is that? You know, and from something that we did in our basement as kids and like, just like bratty pop band. And, you know, we worked our bags off to get to where we got to back then, and it's still paying off. It's an amazing thing, man. We're so lucky.
Yeah, it was cool to see Dan was there too. I was like, oh nice. The whole crew.
Felt so right, man. And like it was in some ways like it was extra special, and then in other ways, dude, it was like riding a bike and like we'd never left. Like, and Dan said the same thing, right? Where, you know, you prep, you go on stage, you play the songs, and the way we like have this dynamic together on stage, it was a lot of it was just like it never stopped. And so, dude, it's amazing. That's
awesome.
Just that's good so lucky. So lucky.
And then you guys released Summer Girl, your version, right?
Yeah.
So I enjoyed I like that version. It's good.
Dude, listen, we are still artists at the end of the day, right? And then we believe in ourselves and what the music we create. And we put out an album a couple years ago and it didn't really do anything. And so it's disappointing. But at the same time, it was like, well, our fans love this song. And we've heard for like 15 years how much heavier and like big it is live. And it was like, well, why don't we just do that and see what it sounds like? And sure enough, man, it just connected with people again. It's just giving it new life. And it was ahead of this big pop punk festival that we played. And it was just fun to kind of give Summer Girl, I think it does it more justice because that's what it sounds like live with the whole crowd behind us. And I think it's cool to try and record that vibe to it.
Oh yeah, that was, I enjoyed it, especially because it's especially the stereo songs. They're very different live versus recorded, right?
Totally.
Produced, all this stuff. But yeah, when like live, even when we played with you guys at one time, like when you fucking first did that big tour and shit in Canada, like it was a blast to like be there and see you guys play. Like it was way better. It was awesome.
Yeah, man. Well, thank you, obviously. And, playing shows with you guys in those halls.
It's the best.
I mean, oh my good dude. I say this all the time and it sounds like it's a sad thing, but it's truly not. It's like, we were so driven to be what we ended up being that I don't think I was significantly happier playing to 10,000 people than when we played with you guys in the hall when it was packed front to back.
Yeah.
It's the same level of like, I was just as excited after those shows. I truly was. It was, there's a magic there in those beginning days when you finally just get people singing along or clapping along. And in those days it was harder, right? Because we didn't have Spotify. Oh, yeah. It was selling CDs at the back of your van and putting music on MySpace. And so for people to know the words, it meant that they really were supporting you because they had to go out of their way to get your music, right? And so, yeah, man, those I think very, very fondly to this day of those shows with you guys and those in those halls, just kicking it. We were like one of the first bands to get a van and trailer, and you know what I mean. We felt like we were so big time. Oh, it's funny.
I miss those days. Those were fun stories, fun memories. It's just it was always a blast. And like you said too, the community was it was so cool. It was so much better. Like you said, people actually had to buy your shit. Like, it wasn't just, I'm just going to find it on the internet. Like people went to the show because they wanted to go to the show.
Yes, dude. And you had to connect with people, right? Like social media just wasn't what it is now. And therefore you needed a music scene to meet other bands, to get opportunities to play in front of people. Whereas now, like the artistry does take a little bit of a hit because of the fact that you can just pretend. You see these TikToks, people walking down the street with those like kind of like the mic you have, and they're like singing the lyrics on the TikTok. What's the mic for? You recorded that, you mixed it, you mastered it, you tuned every vocal. Like, what are we doing here? And
why are we pretending?
Pretending. And like, I get it, dude. You've seen it. I do the TikToks, but I actually made a point. It's like, I don't want to do the mics because I was like, there's no point to it. It's silly. And I'm sort of going off a tangent now, but yeah, there's something to needing a music scene to get better because, you heard what other bands were doing and just like, there's a community there. And, now it's tougher to make a connection on a personal level, I think.
It really is. And I don't know, because it's been a while since, I've even gone to like a local show. I wonder how impacted that is, that like the community of just connecting with other bands and stuff. Is it now just like, I'll just message you versus, face-to-face shit? It's, I don't know.
Well, totally. And dude, I joke about it all the time though. I'm guilty of it. Like, it's not like I'm, out there, like I'm way less social. And I was talking the other day how my Uber Eats, it's still set to contactless delivery, which is so like from COVID, which is so dumb. Because it's like, just leave it on the doorstep, send me a photo, I'll go get it and emerge from my hole.
Yeah, I don't want to talk to anyone.
No. Remember phoning the pizza place to order a pizza? Like, who does that?
My wife still does that.
Good for her, for real. I like that. Humans talking to humans. It's important.
Yeah, it's funny. She always calls, and I'm just like, just online. I'm the one who like hates calling those places. I hate doing that. I'm just like,
same dude. Never do it. Never ever do it. Unless it's like a serious thing like banking, or if like I need an answer now. The last thing I want is some like AI chat where it's like, sorry, I don't understand what you mean. It's like, get me a human.
That's true, man. Have you with the solo stuff, do you have any like shows planned?
Yes.
Ooh.
Yes. I don't, it's not mine. I was asked to do a show. Okay. And so therefore I will tell you after the interview, because it might not be a problem to announce it, but I definitely don't want to be like, don't
want to be that guy.
Dude, I'm entering a new genre where I am bottom of the totem pole. So I definitely don't want to be the guy to like, to do a misstep. But yes, obviously that's the most, I will always say this, man, there's nothing like writing a great song. There's nothing like getting in the studio, but the best feeling there is playing live. So that's why I do everything I do. I can't wait to bring Delta Suite to the stage.
I'm excited to check you out, like performing these songs. It's going to be good.
Yeah, man. I can't wait. It's going to be, I think I can't help how I already will probably move on stage. It's so ingrained in me. Like, you know what I mean? Like there's just 100%. All that. But at the same time, it's going to be through a new lens for sure with the genre switch. And I'm really excited to find, I've always had sort of a personality on stage that isn't necessarily me. It's a different version of myself. And so this is going to be no exception to that. That's for sure.
Yeah, true enough. And how'd you come up with Delta Suite?
Oh, dude, I'm going to try and make it a short story, but it's actually a sick one.
Okay.
So, when I decided to go country, I was already recording songs and I knew I was going to do it. Like I have to do it now. And so what I did is I started watching the documentary, the Ken Burns documentary on country music. Because I was like, I respect this genre, but I want to know my stuff. I want to know, like, the ins and outs of it all. And it's like 9 hours, dude. It's like like maybe more of like all these different episodes. And anyways, they get into women in country music at one point, and it's just a really, really small part of the documentary is about this artist named Bobby Gentry. And she was one of the first women to write and produce her own music. And they talk about how she had this like Southern Gothic song, and it was really different and cool, and it had this like story, but then they moved on really quickly. And the cliche of like when you're Googling a movie, you miss a movie because you're Googling too much. Right away, I was like, well, I want to know more about that because what's her deal? And so I got down like her story, and she put out an album after that song got big, and it was called The Delta Suite. And the Delta Suite with an E, I guess it means like a Southern belle.
Oh, okay.
And I was just like, that's such a cool like word like combination. And so I Googled Delta Suite without the E and just like the word and it didn't exist. And I was like, that is sick. And so I thought maybe like that could be like an album name or whatever. And then the more I looked into country music, one thing I was thinking is like, it's very hard to stand out with first name, last name, because so many of the artists have that. And not that it's a bad thing. It's great. I love those artists. But I was like, man, I'm kind of showing up to the party a little bit late. Like I would like to stand out. And so then I chose that name. And I was like, Delta Suite, it's just different. And it had the cool story like behind her as an artist. And she was so cool, man, because like she was at the top of her career and just like quit the music business and like went hermit mode. No one knew where she went. And I was like, this is just a cool title for this project. And like I said, man, it sounds cheesy, but I think there's always an aspect for most of us who aren't necessarily always super comfortable to have this alter ego when you go into like whatever band it is. And I thought, this is going to be my country music project is Delta Suite. And it's funny because, if you're a rapper or a pop artist in many ways, no one asks like, why isn't it just your name? But country, it's a little bit different to have
that's true,
as opposed to your real name. And so, people might hate it and think it's weird, but I love it. I think it's so unique and it has a cool story behind it.
Yeah, I think it is unique. I like the name. Yeah, and like you said, it's pretty much just your normal name most of the time in country. And I feel like your name would have fit well too anyway.
I don't think it would though.
You don't think Kordyback?
So? No, that's accountant.
I wouldn't have said Patrick. I would have been Pat Kordyback.
Pat Charles was what I was kicking around because that's my middle name. You know how girls do their first name, middle name on Facebook?
Yeah.
And I thought Pat Charles kind of sounds like, maybe like throwback 90s country artist, but I don't know. It didn't hit home. I made up logos even around both. And I was like, no, it's Delta Suite. It's just sick. It's badass.
Yeah, that's awesome, man. And like with your writing the country music stuff, what's been like your inspiration for writing in this genre? Like,
I mean, I don't think my inspiration has ever changed from whether it be pop or, pop punk or punk rock or whatever I've done. It's, I do think country as a writer it's so funny because it's almost regarded, I think people who aren't big country fans think of country as very like cookie cutter. But dude, writing country songs is so much more challenging than anything I've ever done because of the fact that you cannot waste a word. You have to tell a story from start to finish. And I think that for me, especially as someone who's absolutely, I've always admitted that I'm melody first. I'm a hook writer as opposed to a lyric writer. And so it's really, really challenged me I can't just like throw stuff out there and hope that it's catchy enough that, maybe the listener will understand what I'm trying to say here. No, like I've been pushed and it's been great. And so like, you know what, man, like I always just write about, it has to be me. You always hear the word authentic when people talk about country. And authentic can be a party song. You know what I mean? It doesn't mean deep. It doesn't mean that it has to be traditional country, but I don't want to write songs that I just can't see myself relating to in any way. And so it's a very broad way of answering your question, but I do think that no matter what, by the time you hear anything I've put out, it has gone through the test of, is this me? And gotten my stamp of approval.
Nice. So, well, that's good that like you're challenging yourself too, which is awesome.
Totally. Yeah. Right? It's been great, man. It's been so fulfilling. And then I've had some great co-writes where, that's happened, right? Where it's like, it's very, very, it takes a long time to get the right words. But then when I write by myself, I'm better for it. It's like any skill. You know what I mean? The more you do it and the more you bounce ideas off other people, the more you can grow artistically, I think, for sure.
Yeah, that's true. That's true. Here's a question for you. What was the last country concert you've been to?
I mean, last week I saw Jordan Davis.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, incredible. He was very good. Oh, I'm going to forget her name and I feel so bad. The opening.
Where was that? Where was that show?
Rogers.
Oh, was that Rogers? Okay.
Yeah, and he was incredible. I saw Charlie Crockett last time he was here. It was it May? Well, it was during. I remember it was during Game 2 of Dallas Edmonton, and he like basically chirped us all. He's like, "I didn't even know we had a hockey team in Texas. Sorry, you guys lost." And I was just like depressed. And I love him. He's so good. But yeah, I try to see as much country as I can. I'm like very, very genuinely a huge fan of the genre. So yeah, I think it's obviously having a moment. It's very, very, it's
it definitely is having a moment.
Yeah, it is. And so, that's a good thing, obviously, but also it's challenging because there's a lot out there. So you got to come correct.
It's funny to say that it's having a moment because country is so huge. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
But it's
never gone anywhere.
Something different happening just with these other artists doing the switch over, and you're like, okay, like I think that's done something, but it's just weird to say that it's having a moment because it's always had a moment.
True. I think it's more of a pop culture like A-list moment than it has been in the past, right? There's always been, I mean, we're Alberta guys, right? Like we know that people go to Big Valley Jamboree in record numbers every year, right? We know that. Yep. But I do think that it's starting to expand outside of the traditional markets in a way that is at the forefront. And like I said, there's so much good about that. And of course, like anything, there's going to be negatives to that. But dude, I'm brand new to this. Who am I to say what's good and what's bad? It's not my place.
That's fair, man. It's so interesting though. These people, trying out country and that, and it turns out pretty good. And one thing, I don't know how I came across this, but it was the lead singer of Default, Dallas Smith.
Well, Dallas Smith, he's a legend.
Yeah. Well, that's the funny thing too, because I didn't even realize, because I don't follow country huge, right? So I went down this rabbit hole and was like, I wonder what happened to this band. And then it's like, oh, he's like this huge Canadian country artist now.
He might be the biggest Canadian country artist.
That's what I was reading, like all these awards. I was like, that's insane.
Oh no, he is a weapon. Yeah, that guy's his songs are just great. He's
And
great.
apparently he's still doing Default. I was like, that's cool.
Yeah, and honestly, I don't know if he's been doing it the whole time or if it's just sort of a new thing. But like, listen, man, throwback nostalgia right now is as big as it's ever been, and
Oh,
so that is why Stereos. We just played the summer festival we did, right? It was entirely like a nostalgia fest, and it's such a great place to be because people. I don't know what it is. If it's, is it the world's crazy and people just want to go back to quote unquote the good old days or whatever, but it
that
is
might be it.
totally. And I wonder, right? Like, I feel like old men always are like, man, in my day, it was the best time. They say that, and we all die, and the world keeps spinning, right? But I know that I feel that way. I think about the 90s right now so fondly, right? Like when I was a kid renting movies from Blockbuster, getting Slurpees, like, I'm like, that was
man.
the best time.
The best time.
But at that time, my dad was probably like, man, kids nowadays, they're dumb. Like it was the 70s. We had Zeppelin or something.
Well, it's just every generation goes through it, right? Like Hudson's gonna grow up and then he's gonna think the exact same thing about his childhood.
Totally.
And it's
Yeah,
just
100%.
that's what it is. But
And there's
it's
something
just
good there.
yeah, and it's just our generation. This is like the perfect time because like you have all these bands doing their like fucking 25th anniversary of this album tour, the When We Were Young Fest. Like it's like, oh my God.
Dude, Stereos was 15 years ago this last summer. 15
That's crazy.
years, dude. That is nuts. I just still can't believe it.
Fucking time flies, man. It's insane.
It does. Yeah,
it's scary.
It is scary. But also it's I mean, what are we gonna do, man? What are we gonna do? I think about it like 15 years from before I was born was the year 1970, okay? Which means that the year before that was the 60s. That's 15 years. So for that time frame, to be between Summer Girl coming out, which in so many ways feels like yesterday to me, to now is crazy.
It is pretty wild.
I don't like it. Let's move on.
I don't know. Yeah, no, it's funny because even my like when I'm scrolling through like reels and all this shit too, there's so much nostalgia stuff that pops up on my phone, like old commercials when we were kids.
Oh, dude, I love that stuff.
Oh, this is so cool,
dude. Like
stuff you totally forgot about, but it's just like deep in there.
Dude, there's days where I'll like take an edible and then my Twitter feed will be like 90s commercials, and I'm like, oh my God, I'm like loving this. I'm like in this like zone. Oh, it's the best. It's the best. The 90s were the best. I don't care.
Yeah. I don't care. They were the best.
I don't care. They're the best.
Nice, man. And yeah, like what else do you got going on in the works? Just kind of doing the marketing for this new song and stuff like that. And then are you
kind of putting all my attention on that. So I am sitting on about 5 or 6 songs now, though.
Okay. And that's what I was gonna.
Yeah. So this song is gonna be, I now need to start being consistent. Like the song last year did better than I thought it would. I love that song. Shout out Ashton, who I collabed with, for making it better. But I didn't really have a plan in place, and it was just more of a like, well, let's get this thing kind of rolling. And now it's actually let's get this thing rolling because it's been a lot of time and effort and a lot of money because I'm independent now, so I'm financing it all myself, which is super fulfilling as well, though, right? Because like,
true.
The fact that it's coming out Friday, it's like, dude, there's when you're a musician who is not yet where you'd like to be, it's like 30 tough days for every good day, but those good days make it worth it. And Friday's going to be a good day for me no matter what, right? Like just putting all this time and effort into it. So, just going to be more consistent with releases going forward here.
Nice, man. And what's like your strategy with that? Like, I know you're kind of like you're making posts and stuff, but do you have a strategy of 1 or 2 a day and they got to be different, or is there any recycling things or?
Yeah, so a little bit, but like it's mostly once a day on TikTok. Okay. And so whatever that looks like, they don't all hit, but like it's been, and again, this is another great lesson, right? Like I'm going solo now, I'm doing my own thing, and the TikToks that have really blown this whole thing up in the last 2 weeks, my followers went from like 5,000 to 11 or something, and it was because of doing Stereos versus now. So I still got to respect Stereos for what it's meant for me and how it's been able to.
How did this become this thing?
Yeah, dude. Like, you know, that whole thing. So, you know, as much as I want to be like, I'm the man now, it's like, no, stereos is still what moves the needle.
It was
And
so funny when I seen that. I had one friend from high school. She sent me that. She was like, when the fuck did this happen?
Yeah, dude, that's what most of the comments are. And again, 99% of them have been so positive. And I was worried because when they pop off, and you can tell they're popping off, dude, like, because like, you know, it's going nuts. When they pop off is great. And also that's when you start getting so many more eyeballs and you're going to get more haters, right? And so I've been lucky that it's been almost 99% all positive, which I was, you know, I won't lie, I was worried about it. I was like, people are going to torch me. But
I mean, I guess you've gone through this before with stereos. Like, obviously, it would be like, negative,
very polarizing band,
and all this shit. 100%. But like, I guess, do you ever get used to that? Like, after a while, I would say you get used to those negative comments. But do you? Like, how have you kind of handled that throughout the years?
Fair question, man. So I always say I stopped caring what people thought when I was 17, and people called AFI sellouts, and I didn't understand how, because they were still like as heavy as they'd ever been. And so I don't care. I do not care if you don't like my music. I genuinely mean that. I hope people do. I'm not going to lie. I don't like, of course I want this to be able to take my life where I want it to go. I want people to like it. If they don't though, that is fine. Where I still don't really understand where people are coming from is because they hate your music and they feel like they need to be rude to you.
Hey, I hate your music.
No, dude. If someone's like, dude, I hate your music, that's fine. It's when they're like worse than that, and it's because they don't like your music.
Oh, it becomes like, more, yeah.
Oh, dude, it's just like the most vile stuff, and it's always from like anonymous accounts, right? They never put their name behind it. And I don't know if you ever go down the rabbit hole, 99%, I keep saying 99% of the time, the majority of the time when someone chirps me, I like play back. Like I just joke back with them. I don't care. Where they're like, you suck. I'm like, yeah, dude, I know. Dude, I've got everyone in the comments fooled. I'm with you, dude. I suck. Like, I don't care. I don't care. Music is subjective. Like, who cares if you like it or not? Like, that's my point. I said this earlier, is when you don't like something, why don't you just scroll past it?
Exactly.
If you land on it and you feel the need to be like nasty, then that is an issue with you. And I feel for you. Genuinely.
It's true. Yeah, that's true, man. That's true. Fuck. It still puzzles me, man. I'll never understand, like, I don't know. I guess I'll never understand it because I would never do that myself.
Yeah, and I mean, listen, man, we all have bad days. Sometimes you got to stop yourself. Like, I do now make a conscious effort to not post things that are going to cause, or like, sometimes you'll be surprised that some people will get upset over what you post, but I never intentionally try and post things to incite any negativity. And that is a day-to-day thing that I see, because, you know, there's crazy stuff on Twitter. There's crazy stuff on any platform you use. And it'd be easy to, you know, try and just fight with someone online, but it's just not worth it, man. That energy is just a waste.
Oh yeah. 100%, man. And like, yeah, you're doing that one post with the stereos thing. It was hilarious, but it's a smart move too. If you can hop on whatever is trending on TikTok, right? Like, because people are just like, everyone's doing this now. And like, if I can somehow do it, you're obviously going to get lots of views and everything. So if you can hop right in there.
That's what I've been trying to do, right? Is like, and here's another thing too, is that until recently, my personal TikTok was just basically kind of jokes because I didn't have a music to promote, right? So now I do try and be conscious of, if someone finds my TikTok page, I want them to know it's a music page, because otherwise, what am I really promoting? And so then, sorry, to your point, it's like finding a trend, which is rarely about being a musician, and then trying to get my wheels turning is like, how do I turn this into me being a musician? And so that's where, but again, like, it's a silly way I'm using my creativity when really you should be writing, but it's just not the world we're living in.
No, not at all, man. That's a thing. And yeah, hey, with country, like, how is the local scene here for country?
Very alive and well. There are so
Yeah.
many local
Okay.
artists. Oh yeah, Alberta country music is unbelievable. So much talent, and I mean,
Have
you
you
know,
always kind of like stayed a part of that scene growing up, or is this kind of like a
no,
new thing?
I'm brand new to this scene. Like
Mm.
as a like member and knowing who's who, I'm still brand new. Huge shout out to Dan Davidson, who he also grew up in our Edmonton music scene. He was in Clockwork, which was a band I loved, and then Tupelo Honey, who did things,
Oh,
and then
nice.
yeah. So I've always looked up to Dan Davidson, man. Like he was in many bands that I really looked up to, and he's kind of shown me the ropes. He produced the song I'm putting out on Friday, and I'm very very thankful for his involvement. Shout out Dan.
That's awesome. And did he help out with like any of the new stereo stuff that you did there?
Co-wrote, yeah. Like he
Okay,
didn't
yeah. I
produce or
thought I
anything, but
remember you mentioning his name. Okay.
yeah, we wrote on the last album like two of my favorite songs, like "Look Good" and "Glory Days." Two great songs that I love.
I
But yeah,
still
he's a
Look
great
Good
writer.
still pops up on my Spotify. I'm just like, yeah.
Yeah, he's a very very talented writer in any genre. I'm a big Dan Davidson fan.
Oh yeah, no, that's great, man. That's yeah. It's always good to have like awesome people around you. You know, it makes all this easier and more enjoyable. So
100%. I say it a lot. I'm going to say it more. But going solo is anything but, dude. You need a team. It is not just you. And so whether it be, this guy Bill at Sharp 9 who's helping me with radio, or Adam with PR, Dan with production, the team that I've built around me has been super instrumental in me just being able to get on my feet and get this thing going. 100%.
that's awesome, man. No,
Very
good for you, dude.
Well, thank you. Yeah, man, I'm stoked. I'm really excited.
I'm too. I think a lot of people are like, even just with the stereo stuff, they're going to be there's even if they don't like country, I'm sure they're really curious to see how this all goes with you.
Oh, dude, I think on both sides. I think people who hate me are interested to want me to see me fall flat on my face. But the overwhelming amount of comments that I see are all very supportive, and that means a lot, man. Again, I don't do it for anyone else but myself. But at the same time, I'd be lying if I said that validation doesn't keep the wheels turning on some days, for sure.
Nice, man. Well, shit. Maybe you get nominated for a freaking CMA.
Maybe, yeah, I'm probably a couple years away, but hey, dude, that's my goal. Let's get a Grammy. Let's get a Grammy. What are we stopping there for?
Yeah, there you go. Freaking sweet, man. And yeah, like obviously you're always busy with writing music and shit like that. But like, I don't know, lately, what have you been doing in your off time, man?
Nothing. Like I don't have off time really. It's been mostly music. I have a 5-year-old niece who is the best, human I know. She's hilarious. And just connecting with, I have a very small circle. I mean, we've talked about this now. I think at the last time how I'd probably just recently quit drinking, but that's reduced my, I don't go out, dude. So I'm not like a super social person really. And I'm almost 40. I think it would be really sad if I was out all the time, to be honest. But man, just focusing almost everything just on the music and unfortunately content creation as well to try and push it.
And that can take up a lot of time, even though it feels like it shouldn't, but it does.
Oh, it does. It's 100% does. Like
just trying to figure out one post, you're like, fuck, I spent like an hour and a half trying to figure this out.
Dude, there are days where I'm like, I got nothing. And I'll just throw something out there just to like almost superstitiously keep the TikTok gods happy with me that I posted today, and that they'll keep my algorithm healthy.
I just hate having like specific times that work better and stuff. I'm just like, man.
Yeah, but dude, then you like look those up and they don't work. Like
no, they never do.
Okay, you've obviously seen Wayne's World.
Yes.
Okay, here's my analogy for TikTok. In Wayne's World, there's the arcade game, Noah's Arcade, and he has the game, and he tells them, it's like the secret is that you can't win it. So people keep putting in their coins trying to win the game, but you can't win the game. And that's TikTok, is that they have all there's, even if you talk to experts, they're all like, yeah, it's a crapshoot. You really don't know how to crack the system until you get to like a massive level, and then all your TikToks pop off. But like, it is, you follow like, what's the best time of day to post? What's the best like app to use outside? And then you find out they're shutting down that app. Like, it sucks. It's dumb.
Yeah,
but it's still smart.
It's all luck, really. Like, once you get lucky enough to have one pop off, then it's like, okay, we're doing okay for a while.
Yeah, and then that keeps you happy for a week until you're back at 200 views.
But then you have like other shit. Then it's like, oh, you got Instagram, and it's like, there's always more. It's not just one, right? And it's
totally
like, okay.
But also Instagram's funny because like I got it in like 2011. I think like most of my followers are all like dead accounts now because they followed me back when my band was relevant. I don't even know if like, they even exist anymore.
I often wonder the amount, because there's so many bots. Like, I often wonder if you were to like look at someone's following, how many of those are like bots? Like, how many are real people?
Dude. Or people like, who don't use their accounts anymore, or like nothing. First of all, everything is fake. Nothing is real.
Because it's like, oh my God, he has 30 million followers. Do you?
Okay. And also, I'm not going to, I said earlier, I'm not going to say anything negative, and I was about to. Yeah. Listen, everyone's just trying to like, everyone wants to feel important, and I don't blame them. And so I have no judgment.
That's fair.
Yeah.
And how's Rob doing?
Rob's good, man. He's back training. And
I seen him skateboarding.
Yeah, dude, he's getting good, eh?
Yeah.
Like, he's actually getting good.
I seen those videos. I was just like, good for you, man.
Totally, man. He just went to Spain, which is so weird. Like, awesome, rad, love that.
Yeah, because I feel like there was a stint I didn't really see much from him, and then he did the skateboard and stuff, and I was like,
yeah,
oh, sweet, nice.
He's living the dream that I had as a 14-year-old of being able to do 360 flips. I never learned how, and he's got them down. Yeah, he's getting really good. I'm proud of his skating skills.
Oh yeah, no, it's especially at like our age. It's like, come on.
Oh my goodness, no! Like, when I see him do that, I'm like, my hips would just betray me. Not happening.
It wouldn't take much to just like screw me up for like a week.
Dude, I pulled my shoulder like a few months ago now, tying my shoe. Like, I'm at that age. So yeah, skateboarding. Are you kidding me?
I think that's the worst part. And like makes me. That's where I feel old. Is where like I pull something and I didn't even like do anything.
Oh yeah, I mean it can. I'm always one quick movement away from being out of commission for like a week.
That's true. And even like, fuck, when we were trying to plan this, I was like, when I told you the first time, I was like, yeah, man, like 8 o'clock. You're like, fuck, dude, like that's so late.
Oh, dude, like, yeah, no way, 8 o'clock. Get out of here with 8 o'clock. Like, I'm in edible watching hockey mode at 8 o'clock. There's no.
Oh, okay.
Yeah,
that makes sense then.
Actually, I'll say this though. Like, a part of it is that it's just a mindset thing. I've been trying to treat music like a day job, right? So I do all my music stuff through normal working hours, and it's kind of kept me disciplined in a way, which has been nice. But yeah, no, I was just kind of being a baby. And actually, shout out me for playing hurt today, because I was dealing with a pretty bad migraine all day. But I show up for things, man. This is my Jordan flu game, doing a podcast after a migraine.
And because I know you've been like, because you've done more podcasts too, kind of just doing this promotion for the song, right? Yeah,
and dude, just like all straight up through like personal connections from people who follow each other on Instagram, whatever. It's been great. Yeah, it's been nice.
Nice, man. Yeah, I don't know. The podcast thing's fun. Just like chilling, chatting, shooting the shit.
Dude, I saw the one you did with George Stroumboulopoulos, and I thought it was great. Like, that guy was a legend. Like, especially because he was one of the first Much Music personalities to really pump up punk rock, and like AFI specifically. Again, I was obsessed. And yeah, that's a good land for you. Good job.
Oh fuck, dude, I was very excited about that one. I still can't believe I did that one. It's so weird.
Good for you, dude. That's awesome. You're good at this too. I think you ask good questions.
I appreciate it, man.
And also, I'm a lead singer, dude. I love talking about myself. So anytime.
True. Lead singer, yeah.
Guilty.
That's just what you guys do. God damn it.
100%. Yeah.
Love the attention.
Defect. It's a defect.
Nice, man. Oh, fuck. Well, I don't want to keep you too much longer. I think we kind of hit the mark here, which is pretty good.
Yeah, great chatting with you.
Yeah, man. Whatever you want to promote, your friggin' TikTok, all that shit, let everyone know what's going on.
No. Well, I guess. So any platform, I think the handle is going to be the Delta Suite. And please stream my song Out of Money, Out of Mind. It drops November 8th as much as possible so that I can, I don't know, I would say like feed my cat. That's always my number one priority. My little baby.
Yeah. It's important.
100%. She's the best.
Beauty, man. Well, I'm excited to hear it too. And then, for the rest of the stuff that you drop as you go. So it's going to be good.
You know what? I'll send it to you. I'll send it to you after we talk.
Oh, fuck yeah. I'm excited. And is there music video, right?
There is, man. Do you know Travis Nesbitt? Local legend, Travis Nesbitt. He was the singer of Social Code.
Yes.
Dude, he's the
best. He
best.
did it?
Yeah. He's so good.
Awesome.
He's so good. He does the best. Okay, Travis is the best because he does a ton of country music videos, but he hates country music. Like he actually hates it because he thinks it's so cookie cutter, right? But the good side of that is that his ideas are outside the box. So the video is like the dumbest, weirdest concept. I had to build something for it. I'm not going to give too much away, but dude, I'm not a builder, but I built something for it, and it was it's a sick video. I'm very happy with it. So actually, you know what? That's what I will send you. I'll send you the link to the video and the song, and you can check it out before.
Okay, sweet. I always love watching music videos, so I'm excited.
Me too. And I love doing them. They're just so expensive, but
yeah.
But you know what? Like once in a while, especially once every few songs, I think it's good for branding, man. People love watching them, but it's just they're expensive. But everything's expensive. Who cares?
Yeah. Well, yeah, especially when it's just you, right? Like fucking.
Exactly. So that's what I need. I need people to stream the song so they can help me make more music videos.
There you go, man. Yeah, do it up.
Well, thank you again, dude. I really appreciate this. It's always good to chat, and I hope you like
it's always good. Oh, dude, I'm excited to check it out. And yeah, it's always fun, catching up with you and shit. So it's a blast, 100%. Man.
Likewise.
Okay, buddy. Thanks, dude.
Thank you, man.